Hi there, my name's Layla. This is my moon blog, and this is for the new moon, which is today, September 12th. And I have some really interesting things to say about both astrology, and I also do a live tarot reading to show what's going to be coming in the next couple weeks because I'm primarily a diviner. Um, Astrology is also used for divination too. It's not my main thing, but I use it when I'm practicing. Um, and I'm a practitioner of magic. You can call me whatever you want, a witch, it's whatever. Um, and before I want to dive into the astrology of things, I want to talk a lot. I want to talk about how all these things are tools. Cards, astrology, runes, all these little things that people use to forecast what is possibly going on for the world, for ourselves, for each other. And I am a really big believer that that stuff is great as a vehicle. It's a way to get maybe a little more depth or insight, or just to help have a little bit of confirmation for what it is you really feel. But the thing about it is our bodies are the most powerful magical tool that we have. They're the most amazing piece of magic that we have. Our bodies tell us everything if we just listen to them and really hear what they're saying. In our society, we are told in so many ways to not listen to what our bodies say, that our bodies are not important, that we're removed from our bodies. We're removed from what the body wants to say, what the body wants to do. And we're shamed for it as well. And there's a lot that goes into that. As a woman, as someone who's female bodied, was born female, and as a survivor of trauma of different kinds, including sexual assault and rape, whatever, all of that stuff. I've been through it. I've been there. So I know what it's like to have your body feel really shut down and not be able to hear it and hear what it's telling you. Um, and I struggle with it to this day. And people can have that struggle regardless of what it is they have or haven't experienced in terms of being assaulted or not assaulted. It's all very subjective. The thing about it is what do we do to heal that? And how do we become more empowered with that, knowing that that's something that our bodies are absorbing every day. I mean, our skin is the biggest organ in our body, and it is absorbing things all the time. It's absorbing energy. It's absorbing information. It's absorbing the moon. The moon's energy we are absorbing all the time. And it's about whether or not we can get really present with that absorption is when we really start to understand how we connect, how people really connect. And I'm bringing this up because I want to talk about truth. Because the new moon, we have a solar eclipse. So the solar eclipse is happening on September 13th, really early in the morning. Um, I'm not really big on all the specific times and stuff because, like, who really knows what's going on? Like, some piece of technical equipment told us this, but just know that we're in a solar eclipse. The sun right now is in Virgo and the moon is in Virgo. The solar eclipse is, we can't really see it in this part of the world, but we're definitely going to feel it. And it's amazing that it's in the same sign. The moon is in the same sign as the solar eclipse. And Virgo is all about what your duty is, what are your intentions, how do you get organized? Um, you know, how do you make your intentions more clear? How do you tell the truth? Um, it's about having a lot of integrity and being really diligent with your actions. So this is a really good time for work. All kinds of work, and work means a lot of different things to people. Like this right now for me is work. People work all the time. Maybe you are at home and you cook a lot for your children or for yourself, and you're a homemaker of some sort. That's your work, and that's hard work. It's a lot of hard work that gets unrecognized most of the time by most people. Maybe you're a CEO. Maybe you work in a coffee shop. Whatever it is, your work is yours. And how do you make it honest? How do you make your work honest? How do you make your relationships in the work environment honest? The sun eclipsing is saying to us, where is your ego in these realms? Can you be honest with yourself? Can you be honest with others? Or have you been like making a play at something that's not really for you, but you're making a play at it because you think it should be yours? Do you know what I mean? Like, what are you hustling? And is it really for you to be hustling that? This is a time to drop pretenses. This is a big time of truth. And in terms of relationships of all kinds, you're going to start getting a little deeper with people. You're going to start seeing what people really want from you. Any delusions you have about other people or what they really want or what they're really about are going to fall away. And some of that could be very surprising. And it's really important that you listen to your body. If someone who seemed trustworthy suddenly seems like you can't really be near them, something feels dangerous about it, listen to that. On the contrary, maybe someone you thought you needed to have a lot of boundaries with, maybe you're going to drop all your boundaries for them. And that could be a very beautiful thing. So many sides to the coin, if you know what I'm saying. So be prepared for a lot of different things. And also keep in mind that on September 17th, in just a few days, Mercury is going retrograde. So it's also going to be a time of review. When Mercury goes into retrograde, we kind of take a look at things in a different way. Now, depending on where Mercury is in your birth chart, it's going to have different effects on you. And that's something that people don't really talk about when we talk about a Mercury retrograde. Everybody kind of freaks out and goes, oh my God, it's a Mercury retrograde. I hate the Mercury retrograde. Everything bad happens, blah, blah, blah. Transportation issues, phone issues. And it's true that stuff does come up. But on a personal level, I was born, in my personal chart, I was born with a Mercury retrograde. So Mercury retrogrades affect me really differently. And it's something that I noticed before I even understood how to look at my birth chart. And then when I looked at it and then talked to someone who was an astrologer, I realized that a Mercury retrograde is actually a really potent time for me. Things actually go well for me. So there's a lot of warnings on the internet when you Google Mercury retrograde. Oh, this isn't a time for contracts. This isn't a time for relationships. This isn't a time for this and that. People might not be communicating properly. And that could be true. For me, it tends to have a different effect. I've noticed that in I'm just going to put my hair, no, I'm going to leave my hair down. It's witchier. I, no, I just like my hair down. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why am I talking about my hair? So I just got shy all of a sudden, so I started distracting myself. Um, in a Mercury retrograde, it is true to be cautious with signing documents and things like that. I'm not trying to negate all of that. I'm just trying to say, it affects everybody differently. And what I would encourage you to do is, once again, go back to your body. Pay attention to you. Think about what's good for you. What could be the right thing for you. If something looks good, it feels good in your body, then you should definitely go for it, and don't feel like you need to be attached to some warning on the internet because a planet is doing something that's just totally ridiculous. I think. I think that's ridiculous. I have found that Mercury retrogrades are a really good time for me to see where I need to be more accountable They're a really good time for finances, I have found. And I think that that's because finances these days in our society is very technologically tied. Like, finances aren't a real thing anymore. People don't deal in cash anymore. And since Mercury rules technology a lot of the time, it can, and, communication, so the internet and things like that, and phones, it's a really good, money's not real anymore. It's a number on a screen. Like those people who have like trillions and trillions of dollars, those numbers aren't real. They're just something accounted for in a computer system, right? On a bank, like if all the computers in the world crashed, like the people that had all this money, like they don't have it anymore. They just don't. So something to think about. Seriously. So it is, I think it's a really good time for looking at your finances and how to work with that and kind of like see the ways in which maybe you're spending too much or borrowing too much or maybe not being in line with something. So it's a really good time for that. It's also a really good time to really hear what people are saying, for me, I think, because it rules communication. So it's like you kind of start to see where people are either lying to you or lying to themselves. And that's the same for you. Who are you lying to? And are you lying to yourself? And people lie all the time. And it doesn't mean everyone is a liar or a bad person or they're doing it intentionally. It's just that sometimes it's hard to stand in truth because some people can't handle truth. And that really goes in line with this moon. This new moon energy is going to be very powerful. It's very potent. And it's just after Venus has gone direct. Venus went direct on the 6th. It was in retrograde. So Venus, the goddess of love, money, all this stuff, went direct in conjunction with Mars, which is the planet of sexuality, aggression, things like that. And so there's a lot, and so they're working together. Venus and Mars are working together, the masculine and the feminine, the divine and all of that, which exists in everything, are working together. And Virgo is becoming new with this sun that's eclipsing in Virgo. So it's saying, what is the truth here? Where is the balance? And it's all about, life is all about balance. Even when something terrible happens, it's because something's not balanced, right? It's like this terrible thing happened to me. Well, no, I mean, we can have the victim mentality about it. People go through that. That's a real thing, to feel like a victim. And it's not a bad thing. It's just something that people feel, and that could be something in their past that makes them feel that way. So it's like, let's remove that judgment. It happens. But it's also the way of, that is just the way of nature trying to say something is in imbalance. We need to make something in balance. We need to balance something out. It just happens like that. Um, and another part of this moon is Virgo is. Hello? Can you see me? Okay. Virgo is a very is a sign about being organized, but it's also a sign about what is pure and what is right. Anything that's happening in your life that isn't in right relationship or isn't in integrity, or if someone hasn't been respectful towards you or something like that, all of this is going to come into balance. This is a time to expect apologies. This is a time to see the truth in a relationship or see the truth in what is really going on with you and maybe your work environment, your home, things like that. So be prepared and be open to the truth because it's coming and it's something that you need to see and embrace. And I know that sounds really scary, and like when we hear the truth, we think, "Oh my God, like I'm gonna find out that everyone is terrible or something like that." It's not always the case. The truth can mean a lot of things. can mean a lot of things. And the fact is so many people have a very hard time expressing their feelings. And while Virgo is an earth sign, this conjunction between that I see with Venus and Mars, and they're both in Leo, so it's got a lot of lionizing energy. So the lionizing energy is like the performance artist. It's like, I want to express myself and I want to do it in the way that's been held back, kind of thing. So, people could surprise you in a lot of really positive ways. There's also an opposition in the sky with Chiron, which isn't a planet, it's like an asteroid. And Chiron is known as the wounded healer. And it's the thing that we need to heal. And Chiron, I believe, is in Pisces right now. So this moon energy is like sort of opposing the Pisces Chiron energy. And Chiron, the wounded healer. So like when we're born, we have Chiron in a sign, and I believe it's generational. So like in my generation, I was 1983. I think for a period of a few years or so, we all have my Chiron's in Cancer, I believe. So I'm working something out that has to do with Cancer, and so are everyone that's born in 1983. It's just like one of those things. But right now, Chiron is in Pisces. So I would say that this is a really big time for emotional trauma. So just like knowing that a lot of really deep healing is going to be coming up in relationship to these truths, and making sure you have a lot of space of self-care for yourself is good. I think this is going to be a really positive couple of weeks. Really positive. Because healing is not easy. It's just not. Even when it's super positive. Sometimes the positive stuff is more complicated than the negative stuff. And that's because if you're used to a bunch of negativity and suddenly you have this influx of all this positive, wonderful stuff, it's a lot for the system, because you have to reorganize your entire state, your entire electrical, because we're electricity. We're energy. Our nervous system runs on electricity. We are electrical, energetic beings, okay? So, you're basically rewiring everything to like accept beauty and love and positivity and all this amazing stuff that maybe you weren't aware that you were deserving of, or maybe you started telling yourself you were deserving of it. But it's like, it's one thing when you're telling yourself these positive affirmations, and then it's another thing when they start really manifesting and femifesting in your life, and you're just like, whoa, sorry, runny nose, and you're just like, whoa, like, not only did I think it, it happened. So that's a good thing. I would say be prepared for some emotional ups and downs. Like, the way you feel might not match what's really going on. So remember that with the Mercury retrograde, communication is a big thing. That doesn't mean you need to go communicate with everybody all the time. Like, this doesn't need to be the big verbal processing session of the century. It does mean to be aware that sometimes what's going on inside of you might not match up what's going on outside of you. So be present and wait for what you see as truth before you act. And that's because of all that emotional trauma, all those old wounds. This is Chiron. All the old trauma is like in your system, and it's got to come out. So be patient with yourself. So what you think is reality and what your delusions are, those are the old stories that are just like, they need to go. So just remember that they might not be matching up. So don't jump to conclusions really quickly. It's something that I would caution towards. Because I think this is going to be a very powerful time. I think people are going to experience a lot of personal change, a lot of personal growth, and especially in what they see around themselves and how their life has been constructed thus far, because everything's coming into balance. So pay attention to especially your professional relationships and how you handle them. And then on the personal relationship level, be aware that, things could get really intimate with people. You might get way closer to people than you ever thought possible. And then there's a balance in that. You know? The things that happen with people behind closed doors, people don't act the same way in public that they do when they're privately with someone. That's just part of reality. That's just the way it is. That's just how it is. That's every day. It's been like that for a long time. When people are privately together, it's a whole other story. And it doesn't mean that people are fake or whatever. It's just like, it's life, it's survival. Especially if you're a person of color. Let's get those race politics in here. We do things to survive in our environments that other people don't, that people with privilege, white people, and people with other kinds of privilege, because there are people of color that have privilege of certain kinds. People do things for their own personal survival in order to feel comfortable, to get ahead, to feel like in the game. It's just that way. And Virgo can be about that. Virgo can be about survival. How do we survive? How do we stay grounded in the moment? Saturn right now is also in Scorpio, which is like what it likes, because I believe they like to be with each other. So just keeping that in mind as well. It's and Scorpio is about a lot. There's a lot of depth there. There's a lot of transformation in the year. So just these are all things to look at. Just pay attention to and listen to your body. Virgo is about the body. When we think Virgo, virgin, right? Who makes you feel virginal? And maybe that's a good thing. We don't always have to walk around feeling like the big bad experience whoever. And I'm not just talking sexually here. I'm talking like in a lot of different ways. Like, who makes you feel bare? Who makes you feel new? That's good. That's so positive. And when two people can feel bare together, that's so beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. That's like a very deep healing moment. And so I wish that for you. I wish that for everybody. And, try not to have any illusions or delusions of who that might be. Just let go and let it happen, whatever it is. Trust it. It's a beautiful energy. I'm pulling cards. I did all my spell work last night. I've been cooking a lot too. Keep cooking. I made something really delicious. I'm cooking right now. It's a lamb. It's Moroccan. I'm Arabic. I'm Lebanese. Um, Not Moroccan, but I'm making a Moroccan dish right now. It's lamb, and it's been marinated in honey, cinnamon, nutmeg, garlic. I put some garam masala in it, some salt, marinated it in that. And then it's cooking with butternut squash, onions, dried apricots, and almonds. And it's going to be pretty good. And I'm doing it to honor the new moon. Something hearty, you know, homey. So let's see what my cards have to say about all this shit. Okay. Okay, so I see some unexpected travel plans coming up for people. Whether or not you have plans to travel in the next couple weeks before the full moon, um, I just see some opportunities to go places, and it would be a really good idea to go. So if you know, and this is what I'm saying about this Mercury retrograde fear factor, right? Like, oh my God, if you have travel plans, it's gonna fuck up because it's a Mercury retrograde. Well, you know what? Maybe you're somebody who doesn't go anywhere at all, and the Mercury retrograde comes and suddenly you're going places. Hello, it's in retrograde. It's going to affect everybody differently, right? Could be really positive for some people. Keep this in mind. Think about your life, the way you do things, then apply Mercury retrograde stuff to yourself. Don't buy into the fear factor and the woe is me Mercury retrograde shit, okay? Like it's annoying. I'm annoyed. When I read this shit on the internet, I'm annoyed. Aren't you annoyed? I don't know. I'm annoyed. Anyway, I see travel being positive for people. And I would say embrace challenges in the travel plan. So if Mercury retrograde gets crazy on you and you get the wrong directions or you make the wrong turn, try to look at it as an adventure and see what Mercury is trying to tell you, because it's clearly trying to tell you something or show you something. So, just roll with it. And I would say travel is really potent right now, really educational for people. So there's a lot that you could learn about yourself in this time. And I also see it being really fruitful. Like it would be good for your future investments to do these sort of travel. And future investments in general are going to be a big topic in the next couple of weeks. So that's kind of cool that that's coming up, because it's kind of what my instinct was with this new moon energy is stuff about, since a lot of it can be tied to the work environment just because of the sign it's in and organizations and things like that. I just see that like this is a good time to see like what you want to what you want to invest, what are you investing in, who are you investing in, what are you investing in, and I see it being a very positive time for that. I also see it being a time to reap some rewards as well. So if there's something or someone or some people or some project or some community that you've invested some time and energy in, I see a lot of rewards being reaped um, from those investments. And some of those rewards might be a little unexpected. I also see this being a time of a lot of parenting, a lot of like people taking care of people. And I'm seeing this like on a very fatherly level. Um, just like kind of questioning patriarchy in a way and just sort of seeing what it's like to have some very positive masculine energy. I just see a lot of um, I see a lot of I see a lot of very masculine energy like becoming very like responsible. I see a lot of responsible masculine energy. So whether that's something that's around you and you have people in your life that embody that, I would allow them to embody that, because there's going to be a lot of good that comes from that. And then if it's something inside yourself, I would take that energy and apply it really, like this is a good time for that application of that very positive, very, very masculine, like make me blush masculine, like I'm going to like daddy, this is daddy time. I don't know why this is coming up, but this is what I'm seeing. I can only tell you what I see, and what I see is daddy. I see Big Papa just like coming in and being like very like very like this is how this is, and this is how I'm going to take care of you. So there's a lot of caretaking involved in the next couple weeks. This is also a really good time to work out any issues we have connected to our fathers in general and connected to patriarchy in general. So just going, taking that symbology and making it a lot bigger. We live in a patriarchal system. That's the reality of our lives. We live in it and in some ways depend on it to get through the day. We do. We're here, we're part of the system. Patriarchy is a part of us. We work every day to undo it. We work every day to dismantle it because we don't want that in our lives. We have come into the time of the goddess. That happened in 2012. If you do your research on the Mayan calendar and what all that really means, you'll see that we've moved into the time of the goddess, into the divine dark feminine energy coming back. But just because she comes back doesn't mean she does what patriarchy does and represses the male masculine principle. No, she's here to prove a point that she's like, I'm here and I'm big and I'm badass, but guess what? That masculine energy, that patriarchal system that was got into place and oppressed all the feminine energy and treated women like shit for centuries and oppressed us for centuries. I don't have to do that to men because I can learn that lesson and give my own lessons at the same time. I don't need to do that because that's not enlightenment anyway. It's not. It isn't. Because people are people, no matter what gender they're born. And I'm talking about something much bigger than the equality of the sexes here. I'm talking about the equality of energetic balance. Hello? I'm talking about the equality of energetic balance in the universe. So I think we're going to have a lot deeper of an appreciation for what it is to have that imbalance. And I think that really works perfectly with what's going on in the sky with the Mars-Venus conjunct, this new moon. So anything, any anger, any bad experiences that people have had with men, with their fathers, bad, negative, neglectful, abusive, these things are going to come up. And I see it coming up in a way that is releasing, letting it go. And I see figures stepping in to show that there's another way of being that father figure, that boyfriend, that husband, that friend, that person who can show you what it's like to have something that's healing. So that can happen, and any gender can show you that as well. Just FYI. You don't need a penis to show somebody that. And if you have a penis and you're showing somebody that, then good for you. You're a step ahead of a lot of people. That's really amazing. So thank you. I thank you in advance. And definitely looking at what our fathers, what they've meant in our lives. I mean, those are pivotal people in our lives. And some people don't have that. People don't have a father figure that's been in their lives. And that has an effect too. That absence is a presence. My father was very absent. My father is an alcoholic and was an alcoholic. That is just part of my upbringing. And I have a lot of stuff that goes on with my father, that has gone on with my father, that I've had to work through. But I'm actually really excited to see this because I know I want to tap into this so that I can grow and so that I can be more open and accepting of people coming into my life. And so that I can move through the world in a way that feels more comfortable for me. Never mind the one-on-one. I'm talking about the day-to-day. Seeing things more clearly, trusting my instincts, being able to work with people on a level where I'm maintaining my boundaries because I deserve to maintain my boundaries in a healthy way where I'm not hurting someone and I'm not allowing them to hurt me. That's my goddess. That's me in alignment with the next step. So, yes, we want to dismantle patriarchy, but we don't want to dismantle that male masculine energy that is just as positive as that divine femininity. If you know what I'm saying, do you hear what I'm saying? There's no reason to repeat the wrongs of those that have already wronged us. And we're just giving them the power right back if we do that. So there's something to think about. That's really deep. That's like really digging into time, into deep ancestral like time, and overturning shit in a very intense way. It's like this is it, people. I just took this way. I'm taking this like to the caveman. I'm taking it all the way back. I'm just saying, listen. This is what it means to step into goddess culture. This is what it means. This is how we heal each other. And this is how we raise each other up by not discriminating against who it is that raises us up. Think about it. Feel about it. So, yeah, so I see a lot of this. I also see gifts in the form of money that might be coming. If you have people in your lives, male figures in your family, might start stepping up and like kind of like almost handing you money, or maybe there's an inheritance stuff, or maybe you get a bonus at work from your boss. And your boss, whether they're male or female, they've been promoted in a patriarchal system, so there's something inherently patriarchal about their promotion no matter what, because most of the systems we have in place are based off a patriarchal model because we don't know anything new. So like your manager is patriarchy, just keeping that in mind. Doesn't make them a bad person, it just means that's just the way it is. So just keeping that in mind. So it's just like could be some promotional things going on. I do see that, and I see a lot of caretaking. And like I said, I see travel too. I see people's finances improving a lot as well. So if you've been through a dry spell in terms of money, I see a big pickup here. However, at the same time, I see that this is not a good time to spend lots of money. So if you go on these trips, um, that might be coming up, don't I would caution against any overspending. This is a time of saving money. This is a good time to like open a bank account and start putting money in it, things like that. Or like getting like a little cash case in your house and like locking your money up. Whatever it is you want to do, figure it out and do it. This is a time to be like frugal at this, while at the same time you see an increase or an improvement financially. And that will serve you. So this is all good stuff. All right. Happy new moon. My cats are happy. I have two male cats, and they have just been all over me. They've been very happy with this moon energy. Very happy. What am I going to do tonight? I'm going to go see a good friend of mine. I'm going to do some yoga. I'm going to clean my floor in my kitchen because it's dirty. I'm going to be grateful for what I have. And I'm going to stay open and curious to the truth. And I'm going to trust my body to tell me what the right thing to do is. And I'm going to respond with my body. That's going to be my commitment in the next couple weeks. Is just to let my body respond. Pay attention to my body and other people's. This is a great time to learn a lot about body language. Learn about body language. Pay attention to body language. People can talk, say whatever they want. But when it comes to body language, or it's not, two people could be standing next to each other and not moving, but you can see the heat between two people. That's energy. Pay attention to this stuff. Watch energy. Watch the way people move around each other. Such a good time for that. And you'll start to see a lot of truth. You'll start to learn about your own body language. Body language is powerful. It's everything. It's magic. Like I said, our bodies are the most amazing magical instrument that we have. Once you start to own that and hone that and tune it, that's when things start really happening. And I'm here as a survivor to say that it's true. It is very true. And I'm also here as a survivor to say it's not easy. And congratulations. Every small step you take forward and every small step you take backward is huge. Every time you have to review, revisit what you used to be, how you used to feel, what you used to do is amazing. That's so brave. Congratulations. Welcome. Like a good friend of mine likes to say all the time, welcome to your body. Happy new moon in Virgo and solar eclipse. May the goddess be with you.